This is FUTV TV. I'm Adam. Welcome along to another live show, keeping you up to date with all Manchester United news inside and outside of Old Trafford. On and off the pitch, we have got you covered. The international break is over halfway through now. We are officially 1 week away from Ruben Amorim's first game in charge for Manchester United against Ipswich. We're going to go through the injury updates of what we've got. A couple of interesting news regarding Zirkzee as well, and his reaction to being dropped out of that Dutch side last night. What's happening with Martinez right now? Gyokeres comments. Fabrizio Romano telling us, more importantly, and where we're going to start this morning's show with, that Ruben Amorim will want and expects instant impact at Manchester United. He wants to go for trophies straight away. We know what Ruben Amorim said in his interview on Friday night. We went through it yesterday in detail on this channel. We talked about all of the plus points from that interview, the way he was talking, how he came across, what the targets were, what he expects from players, and how he hopes to integrate his style into Manchester United. But most importantly, we took from that the fact that he said you will see a change straight away. Romano again, since this, I just wanted to say this actually, since Ruben Amorim walked through the door, I don't know if Romano's got an in, if he knows someone of his party or he's got someone on the inside, but Romano starts talking a lot about a certain situation or a person in particular when he's got that inside track, and he has come out with quite a lot on the Ruben Amorim situation since he's arrived at Manchester United. And again last night on his channel was saying that Ruben Amorim will expect to win things instantly. He won't wait around. Now, Ruben Amorim did say in his interview with MUTV, the club's channel, and in-club channel, saying that he has to earn the right for time. You have to earn that by winning. And obviously, we need to start winning straight away. Not only because of where we are in the league and it's embarrassing, but obviously for him and his timescale, he only has a 2-year contract at Manchester United. So, the position that we're in, how far we are away from the top four, still being in all the competitions we need to be in this season, I think all Manchester United fans going off this can expect a bit of an impact and an instant sort of reaction from a lot of these players. We're going to also get into the reaction if these players don't react as such, if that makes sense. Anyway, so what will happen if he doesn't get the reaction? We've got an interesting quote from Viktor Gyokeres after his game for Slovakia, and everything that is going on with the transfer situation with Manchester United at the moment. Hello everyone in the chat. If you are in the chat and you're chatting away there with each other, keep your comments flying in. Make sure that you do get your comments in on YouTube when the video has finished its live stream as well. I want to try and get all of your points across. Like I said, we can't get back to everybody's comments. We do sort of look at everything that's been said by you guys and then bring it back into other videos as well. So make sure that you do get your points across, because we like to gauge where the fan base is at. And there is some differing conversations and points from last night's show as well regarding Bruno Fernandes and where Manchester United are at the moment. But yeah, we're looking at everything around the club, but most importantly, first of all, that piece from Fabrizio Romano, which you can see at the bottom of your screen there right now. Ruben Amorim cannot accept the idea of relaxing. He wants to challenge for things immediately. That's a quote from Fabrizio Romano's YouTube channel in talking about Ruben Amorim, what we can expect and how he's going to hopefully hit the ground running for us United fans anyway. We're hoping that's going to be the case. But still, when you look at what job he's got in hand, how much work he's got to do, I think we're all looking at it more realistically. But then when you are trying to be realistic, you cannot help, like what me and Alice talked about the other day in terms of the team and who we've got available and how far we are off the top, you cannot help but feel like there is an opportunity for Ruben Amorim to really hit the ground running. If he gets everybody on board and he gets that one-on-one touch that he has got, that in-game management, that one-to-one management, that player engagement that he has got, if he gets that rolling and gets that working straight away, where can Manchester United finish? I think that's what you've got to look at in all of this. The expectations, I don't think, will be very high from a lot of the fan base. I think they want to be realistic, like I just said, but still, the reality is he hasn't got a long contract and he is on the clock. INEOS are looking at Ruben Amorim to give Manchester United that new lease of life, to bring that football that we want. This would have all been in the meetings that we've spoken about, that everybody has had. Like we touched on last night, so Jim Radcliffe being hands-on with this whole project and Ruben Amorim understanding that from top to bottom, everybody is thinking exactly the same way. This is what this club wants and what this club needs. He has to deliver. And when you look at what we've got right now, there is no real excuse, apart from the obvious, which is players that we know have failed us. Are they going to kick up a stink again, spit dummies out, throw the toys out the pram again, just because a new manager's in and they're not liking the way that he's conducting business, let's say? Making them work harder, the training methods, the style where he wants to play them, certain positions on the pitch and all of that. Obviously, we've got that to deal with as well. But again, this then is why we've got such a hands-on approach from INEOS and the structure. The fact that Wilcox is constantly there all the time and Dan Ashworth's there, I think they need to be helping him out. There's no one to fall back on for the players. We know about this. All of the staff has now left. We went through the staff last night. He's working with a coaching team of around about 8 immediate first-team coaches in a few different departments, including the sports science side of things, and obviously the player physicality side of things, and like the analytic type of way. So we've got plenty of people in there helping him right now, and it's just really good. I feel that we have got that clean slate with no other staff there, and the players are effectively just going to Ruben Amorim. That's it. So that's all you've got. Go work with him, or you're done. Basically, that's what we're hoping for anyway. But he is coming into United, and I think he's looking at this and saying, look, I have to hit the ground running because I haven't got a long contract at the club. I think INEOS are working this now in a way like you would see at other big clubs. It's like if nothing happens within 2 years, then I'm sorry, we are going to have to look elsewhere again. Or we're going to have to at least have the conversation and express our concerns about what's going on. And what does that mean? How can you gauge what is a success at Manchester United right now? If Ruben Amorim gets top 4, I think you're giving the man a new contract straight away. I think that's how it actually is. It's like a knee-jerk reaction, I know, and you shouldn't. Let's let him run it out and let's see what happens next season. I think that will be more realistic. But if he can turn this season around from the disaster it was into a really successful one, then I think what will be the reaction is backing this manager in the transfer window, which leads us to the Victor Gyokeres quotes from last night and what he said after his international game when asked about possibly returning to Manchester United. Joining Amorim at United. Probably he has strikers there already. It's sad to see him leaving Sporting, but we understand his decision. Of course, he's been key for me. Amorim gave me a chance, helping me to develop. Straightforward, normal sort of response you would expect from a player when asked an awkward sort of question. You know these questions are going to come, and you're just gauging for little reactions, aren't you? But they're well trained in answering questions from the media, and we just cannot expect much to come from it, I don't think. I think that's how you have to look at what's being said. But the reason why you bring Victor Gyokeres into this equation is Ruben Amorim won't wait. He wants success, like Fabrizio Romano has already said. He wants to hit the ground running. He has got players there that he would hope to turn around and turn into better players. Like he's got a fantastic track record of turning players around. Like Victor Gyokeres, for instance, from the Championship to the best player in Europe right now as a striker, competing at the top level in the Champions League. Amazing. That's the sort of thing that he does. So we're hoping, ultimately, that he can turn things around with players at Manchester United. I'm going to touch on Joshua Zirkzee in a minute and what's come from the fallout of him not being in that Dutch squad last night. And if we don't get them players onto the level that we need, if we don't get these players playing better and they cannot handle what it is with Amorim, then INEOS have to put their hands in the pocket and go out and back this manager, this head coach. Gyokeres has to be a top target for Manchester United. He has to be. I mean, we'll see how Rashford, how Rasmus, how Zirkzee and the other forwards in this Manchester United squad right now reacts, and how good a season we can have from this point to the end. And maybe that will make the decision a bit easier for the football club. But I look at INEOS and I go, I don't see them as a dwelling on a decision type of structure. I think they react very, very quickly. Look, they backed Ten Hag with all of that money in the summer and were easily straight away ready for kicking him out the door when it wasn't working on the pitch. So they will move when necessary. It'll be really interesting to see now. I think they've given everyone a chance. Look, they've changed what they knew they had to in terms of structure and what was going wrong. And now what they'll do, now looking at the situation with everyone best in class in place, which it is, if things aren't working on the pitch, there's one clear issue, and that is them players wearing the red shirts. like we've spoken about many a times. So, if he cannot turn this around in this space now from now until the end of the season, then expect Victor Gyokeres to be a top target for Manchester United. We know that Barcelona have already dropped out the race, isn't a priority for them. United need to make sure that Gyokeres is right at the top of their priority list for this summer coming, and I think the club will be. I don't think Gyokeres is going to wait around. If the opportunity knocks at the age that he is right now to move to a big club, no disrespect to Sporting on that side of things, they are massive and they're doing brilliantly in their division, in the Champions League. Absolutely outstanding team created by Ruben Amorim. But if there's an opportunity at 26 to move to Manchester United, this is your last chance. This is your last big move, because you're going to need time to adapt to being at Manchester United. So there's a year, you're going into 27. You're going to need this contract now at this point of your career, because if it gets any older, then your recovery time and things going against you, if you've got a slight knock or injuries, it all goes against you. Now is the time for him to move. 2 years at Sporting, thank you. Time to move on. United need to be all over Gyokeres. Yes, other players can turn up this season now and prove a point, and maybe we will not be looking into the transfer market as vigorously as we thought we might be. We may not be going down the striker role as much. It may be a case of, look, we've got a striker here. We've got another one coming through the ranks as well. We've got a couple coming through the ranks in the academy. Maybe we don't need to spend all that money on Gyokeres. Let's just see which positions pull up, who stays fit, who is reliable, and who can fit into this system. That's why he's got all of his staff with him. That's why all the team are there. And I'm hoping that they are just going to relay everything over to INEOS and the structure and say, look, we cannot work with this. If you want us to play this way, we cannot work with this, as in these players in particular. And then we go from there. But I think United need to be all over Gyokeres. I think it's just a player that would fit Manchester United right now perfectly. We know what his relationship is with Ruben Amorim. He understands the system perfectly. And you know what? If you are going to compete, you need the best. I don't know about Zirkzee, I really don't. Rasmus Hojlund working alongside Gyokeres. Let's not forget, the kid is 21. We're not putting him out. We are saying to Rasmus Hojlund, this is Manchester United. Deal with it. You will get your chance in time. There has to be rotation, but this is the level. You have to make a statement, and that comes in transfers, that comes in players that you bring in, that comes in players that you sell. If you don't, then everybody stays at that level and has no expectations. They don't know what they need to rise to or what standards to get to actually stay in this team. Therefore, the performances stay exactly the same. You have to expect more from every single player, and unless they know that, and saying it is one thing, convincing them is one thing. The man management of Ruben Amorim can bring a little bit of that, and there is that there that we can look forward to, of course. But I feel like these are the moments where other players coming in, better players that you thought were all right being sold on, the players that were comfortable at Manchester United being moved on, they're the statements that make everybody else switch on and go, okay, yeah, it's changed. This is a different animal altogether now. This is a different football club. This isn't what it once was. And I feel like a Gyokeres signing would not only up everybody else's game, but it would take Manchester United to that next level. Best coach in town, best structure in town, best players in town, all competing at the highest level. I think that's the type of summer Manchester United are going to need. And it all comes into what happens now. This season, the rest of this season, it's massive as to what goes on with these players. It's absolutely huge. You're going to need senior players. Like I said then, Rasmus Hojlund, I don't think is being put out at all if Gyokeres comes in. You have to expect that as a 21-year-old at Manchester United. I'm sorry, you are not top dog. And I think he would take that on. I think he would take that on board. If you're sensible and you're looking at it properly, you look at Gyokeres and go, what's he got left? 4 or 5 years. I'm going to be 25 by the time he's leaving. Then I'm coming into my prime, and this is my time. He just needs that guidance. He needs someone to work with. We all know that it shouldn't have just been Hojlund who was thrust into the limelight. It should have been him and another striker who was in front of him. And we just got it all wrong. But we've got a chance with Rasmus being young to actually rectify that. I'm going to get into the chat now just to see where you're all at with everything that's going on. And then I'm going to get into the next bit of news. Hello, everybody. I can see plenty of mods and members in the house. I hope you're all doing fantastically well. Amorim didn't say we will challenge immediately. I didn't say that, CRG. He did say that we will see a style of play immediately and the fan base must be patient. How do you interpret this wrongfully, Adam? I didn't. I quoted Romano. Seriously, come on. If you're going to come in with a comment like that, add context or maybe listen in the first place. Oh, seriously, some people. Yes, Romano. It's at the bottom of your screen and he's the one that said it. And that's why I talked about Romano at the start of the show. Come on. Okay. Graham, Adam, Victor Gyokeres played against Slovakia. He plays for Sweden. Yes, sorry, mixed up. Thanks for trying to correct me, doing your Graham thing straight away, Graham. Hope you're well as well. Amorim, this time next year, I doubt even Pep could work miracles with these players. These aren't his players, but Erik ten Hag's. Not just Erik ten Hag's either. There's a few other players, Al. I think you've got to look at that. Like, look, I still expect these players to actually perform for Ruben Amorim. Like, I know these players can definitely get top 4. I'll keep saying that. He's definitely a different approach for Manchester United, and I'm confident we can get more out of him. I'd be happy between 8th and 6th. I wouldn't, Benny, but I see where you're going. As long as we have a sure sign of progress and we can see the style of play, United need to be in Europe. I think this is what I'm getting right now. Everybody's expectations all of a sudden have dropped through the floor, and I totally get it. I totally understand it. We cannot be 8th in the league. We need, I think, the minimum out of this season from where we are is finishing in the top 6 and winning the Europa League. I think we can make top 4. I honestly do. But top 6, Europa League, win it, get back in the Champions League. I'm telling you right now, that's what INEOS are telling Ruben Amorim. That's what we need this summer. That's what we need this season. That's what Manchester United have to be aiming for. Lindelof wants to reunite with Ruben like at Braga. Ruben plays the old boys club like Ten Hag did. I will lose all hope for him. He's not going to. I think we can safely say that Victor Lindelof is not going to be at Manchester United next season. By the way, he came off injured last night, as you can see going across the bottom of your screen there. Victor Lindelof came off injured for Sweden last night, and he's basically, again, like he's at that age, isn't he? Every time he goes down with an injury, it takes longer to recover. Lindelof is done. I don't even think we need to worry about Victor Lindelof. I really don't. I don't think he's going to get a chance under Ruben Amorim. I think he's got better players ahead of him. And I'm not even concerned about Victor Lindelof being part of this team or getting a new contract. He could play his part maybe this season as cover for some of the other defenders, but that's about it. He won't be getting into this side. More comments coming in. We can't wait for Zirkzee. We need to get who we want in the summer because of time. I still like Zirkzee, but time is of the essence. I get that. I'm going to move on to Zirkzee in a minute. We need to stop talking about Hojlund's age and giving him excuses for his performances. I didn't give him an excuse for his performances. I told him to accept he's at Manchester United, and I think he has to accept that players are going to come in front of him. People are, Steve, you're right, giving him excuses. He's playing in a United shirt in the number 9. You have to perform. Otherwise, you cannot kick off when someone else comes in. I think you're right in what you said. Stop giving him excuses. He's 2 years in. But I do believe that we have thrust him into a position he shouldn't be in. I think that's the point I'm trying to make with Rasmus Hojlund. He should be a number 2 or 3 striker at Manchester United. Go and buy Gyokeres. Go and get him in. And then work with Hojlund from there. I think that's the way we need to go. Otherwise, I don't think Hojlund will progress. I think he needs to learn off someone. What everyone's thoughts on Pogba coming to train at United to get his fitness back? Personally, I don't want him anywhere near the club as he's a terrible influence on other players. We said this last night, Wayne, to be honest. I think we touched on it. I don't know. It's just like maybe it's like Manchester United offering an olive branch to a former player, academy player, to come and train. Honestly, I don't think I've got too much of an issue with it. I really don't care as long as we get the right results. If Ruben's all right with it, then we're all right with it. I can't see, like some people were saying last night, a couple of people in the chat were actually going in saying bring him back in. I don't think that's ever going to happen, to be honest. You could deal with the off-the-field stuff with Paul Pogba, but the more concerning stuff was his injury record anyway. He's the most unreliable player on the planet for injuries. This squad is a top 4 side, but only just. I think we can also win the Europa League. This is bare minimum. Ruben will be a total opposite to Erik ten Hag on more favourites. Toys they have to earn their place. Yep, they do. Lee says, to be honest, my expectations of Amorim are higher than they were with ten Hag from the start, but we'll see. Without a prolific striker, I wouldn't bet on top 4. I get that. That's a realistic look on it, and that's a fair comment. I do get that, Lee. It is a case of him improving the players that we've got and hoping that they can take their game to a level that we know they've got, but we've just not seen. And I say that in Rashford, 30 goals in a season. If we get that Rashford back, United will make top 4. If we can get Rasmus Hojlund from last season, adding to that Marcus Rashford from the season before, there you've got your 46 goals there. That is top 4. That's how you get top 4, with goals. Bruno Fernandes coming back to form like we said last night. With him in an Amorim role, a bit more disciplined, creating like he is, scoring the goals that he is. You've also got Garnacho who's scoring goals. He can go to another level as well. If they all chip in, like if Garnacho stays in the form that he's in now, Ahmad stays in his, Bruno in his, Rashford goes up to the level we know he can be, Rasmus Hojlund from last season is there, United make top 4. All of that combined is 50, 60 goals plus, and Manchester United are flying. That's what we need from this team. It's there, we know it, it's just come in different parts, and we need it all to come together as one. Can Amorim inspire that team to come in as one and give us that? We've got a good setup at the back now. We are keeping clean sheets. We have more clean sheets in the Premier League than any other club. Andre Onana is golden glove right now. 5 clean sheets. We're in, I think, the top 6 in the league for defence and goals conceded. We have changed that from last year. We are a lot more solid from last season on that side of things. We just don't score enough. Under Ruud, we've seen a little glimpse of what we can do. 11 goals in 4 games. If we can continue that sort of form, that will take you to top 4. Guaranteed that takes you to top 4. So, that's the important side of things. And I do believe that it's there within this squad. And we have got the capabilities. Joshua Zirkzee, on the other hand, is where I wanted to move to next. And reports on Joshua Zirkzee, a bit concerning. There's reports in the Mirror from Simon Mullock who says club chiefs are hoping that Ruben Amorim can help Joshua Zirkzee to show why they bought him. Koeman's decision to leave him out was a huge blow. I can only imagine what Joshua Zirkzee's head is at, where it's at right now. He must be a player that is flat. To not make it into the Dutch squad having been called up and not be in the matchday squad. Look, we said last night, he could be in the next game and just be completely rested out of this one. But he has been in every single squad that he's gone away for this season so far. He's not really performed that much. I think first international break he did well. I think he got a couple of goals, performed all right in one particular game. But for Manchester United, honestly, you're starting to feel with a new man coming in, and I'm not having this garbage that Erik ten Hag didn't fancy Joshua Zirkzee. He wouldn't have been on the phone to him every single day like it was reported if they wanted him in. We wouldn't have been looking at him in January before INEOS actually took power at Manchester United, because we was. He's a player that he wanted and he said would bring something different to Manchester United's attack. So I'm not having all of that. Be interesting though, and the interesting part of that quote right there is Chiefs are hoping Ruben Amorim can help Zirkzee to show why they bought him. Hoping that they can get value for what they spent is basically what they're saying there. They're hoping that he can turn him around and he can actually show what his worth is to Manchester United. I don't see where he fits right now, but if the other players, like we said, don't perform, Amorim may look at Zirkzee. Zirkzee may look at this as an opportunity to change everything. He has to. He's at United. He has to change what he has been doing. He has to adapt a lot quicker. And We're all hoping that Ruben can turn him around. We're all hoping that he can. Some fans have given up on Zirkzee already. That's just where this fan base is right now. And again, it goes into the top of the show. And people are saying, look, we need to be realistic. We need to give him a bit of time. There's no time. Roy Keane said it. Players don't get time at United. You have to be that good. This is the level. This is where people's standards are. I think 8th is all right in the league. No, it's not. It really isn't. You have to get on board with what was wrong before and put that to the back of your mind and say, that was just an absolute sham. Manchester United should never be run that way. We cannot accept them levels. They're not the standards that this club should be looking to. We need to be higher. Amorim knows this. INEOS know this. The players coming in will know this. Every other signing that's come in under INEOS, the other 4 are now permanent fixtures in that Manchester United side. Joshua Zirkzee is the only one that's brought in that isn't doing what was necessary or what is necessary. And that's the concern. I don't see where he fits in. I hope that he can turn him around. But us talking then, and the time factor again coming into this is, if it gets to the summer, he's played a few games. He's shown a little bit of improvement. That's all great. Fantastic. He's doing well. But then you're bringing Gyokeres in the summer. We know we're going to spend money in the summer. We know we're going to bring in another forward if we're not where we need to be. And that's Zirkzee done. It is. It is. Unless Bruno goes. Unless Mount goes alongside Eriksen and you've got room at that number 10 role. Maybe you could adapt him in there. He could maybe fit in there. Personally, I look at the 10s this season and I think there's players in front of him. Can he compete with Rashford and Hojlund as a number 9? Few and far between chances, really. Because you've got 2 other fit strikers there in Rashford and Rasmus who will hold that number 9 place down. There's only one spot. Can Zirkzee get himself in there? I see him more as a 10. But then I don't see him ahead of Eriksen, Bruno, Mount, Ahmad, or Garnacho. And that's where you start to think, oh, hang on. Now we're looking at a bit of a concerning situation here in that he's never going to get a chance. Ruben cannot wait for players to find form. He can do his best on the training ground. He can get into that player, convince him, make him better. But he cannot wait forever. Manchester United need to be turning things around in this next 6 months. That's the standard. Expect more. Otherwise, you're never going to get more. You have to aim higher. United, right now, I'm telling you, they're in the dressing room. They're having meetings, whatever, at Carrington. And the target is top 4. That's what their aim is. They have to think that they are going to make top 4. Forget the league and all of that. That's a couple of seasons away yet, at least, for Man United. Because you need to be consistent. There is a level that you can be at that gets you top 4. And we know this. It's like Arsenal right now. What are we? I think we're 4 points behind Arsenal right now. That's a top 4 standard there. You know they can move on from that and have a few wins. United have never shown enough consistency to convince us that we are just a top 4 side, at least. The next level, obviously, challenging for the title. And the next level is obviously winning the title. Can we turn it around in this next 4 years, which INEOS are expecting? You know what I mean? When you look at it, when we finish this season, when this season ends, we have 3 years to meet INEOS's vision. And you're saying we need to give him time. No. Top 4 now. Top 4 again next season. And even higher and closer to the top 2. The next season, you have to be challenging for the title. That's the blueprint right there. And when you look at it that way, you cannot see how you could give players like Zirkzee time. You cannot see how you would let Rashford turn his career around again. A big decision needs to be made now if it isn't working. Otherwise, we are done. They have to act on what they have put in front of everybody in INEOS right now, which is a mission, a target, a vision of winning that Premier League in the next 3 seasons after this one. And that doesn't come about with waiting around for players and just waiting to trust a process or a plan. We'll play this player continuously just because we know they've got something. If it isn't working, you're out. Someone else will take your place and do better. If they don't do better, you may get a second chance, and you better take that chance, otherwise you're sold in the summer. That's what these United players have got in front of them. Rashford may take that number 9 at the start. If it doesn't work, Hojlund will come in. he then knows that Manchester United are waiting to see what happens between him and the other forwards. And if it doesn't work, cha-ching, in comes the best striker in Europe right now in Victor Gyokeres, or someone along the lines of that. I think it will be Gyokeres personally. I think we'll make a point of going all in for him, but that's what you've got to have in your mind as a Man United forward right now. That's how Rasmus Hojlund needs to be thinking. If he wants to be number one, then that's the level. And you know what? He will try and try and try, and he will keep on going and going. And when he gets to that level and he thinks, oh, I'm just missing out, his game would have advanced that far, he wouldn't have even realised. What I'm saying is right now, the expectation levels of where everyone is at right now is why these players are still at that. They're still just hovering. They're not moving up. They're not taking off because everybody is acceptance of where we're at. You cannot have this standard level. And when people think, wow, I can't believe how INEOS reacted on that. I can't believe how they've just got rid of him and brought a manager in straight away and got rid of Ruud van Nistelrooy like that. The decisions now have been taken out of our conversations. Sorry, that didn't sound right. The debate has been taken away from United fans because INEOS are acting like a proper football structure should do. There is plenty wrong with what's happened, but there's a hell of a lot more that's right with what's happened with INEOS. And I think that's the biggest positive out of everything that we're looking ahead with right now. I've got other bits to get through as well before we finish up, but I'm going to come to the chat. As always, how's everyone's Sunday going? I know you all look quite early. There's loads of people in the chat. We've already got over 150 likes. I'm sure we can get that 200 live like mark, everyone. Please give the video a like. Make sure you have subscribed as well. We're there five away from the next 100 mark. So please do be part of the journey. Hit that subscribe button. Obviously, then you can get involved in the chat as well, in the live chat, that is. Radu says, we got Zirkzee because we have winger that don't pass to the striker, so we bought a striker that passes to wingers. Again, the selfish winger issue. Nathan says, I want Zirkzee too for this new system. It's good that he was not in the Dutch squad. He must focus on United. I think he will. I think we will see something good from him. I really want him to change and make it. I think we all want him to succeed. We want every United player to succeed. I think we just look at it more with we know what's coming. Like, there are standards and there are levels that have just been forgotten about, and we need to get back there. And some players will fall away because of it. We know they will. Zirkzee showed some signs as a 10 when he last came on, but he's not an elite striker or player. He plodded across the front of Garnacho and nearly got in the way of his goal. Yeah, these are the concerns that I see everyone talking about when I'm actually at the stadium as well. They just don't know where he's supposed to be playing. And a lot of people are saying at the ground that he doesn't look like he knows what he's doing. There's a couple of moments, like we said, in games where he has actually done some good things. The game against Southampton, he was good. Crystal Palace, he was very good. I think in some substitute appearances, he's had the odd good little pass here and there. I know I'm clutching at straws, and I'm completely contradicting what I was saying when I was saying that our standards need to be a lot higher. Well, you are looking at what we've got with him, and when you're trying to analyse Zirkzee, you can only pick out little moments, sadly. There isn't enough to get your teeth into. There isn't enough to convince you that he is going to be the player that we need. But maybe with Amorim and a little bit more game time, you just don't know. But then I'm sort of fighting against and arguing against myself by saying Amorim hasn't got the time. He needs to play his best players. And sadly, there are going to be victims of that within the current squad. And I think he could be one. I do. Manak says, having Bruno as the main guy is the biggest hindrance for us to challenge for anything. I disagree. I understand the argument again for Bruno. We had this last night. I do disagree on that. He's definitely not the problem at this football club. You can argue he is our problem, but he's not the biggest problem. Striker instinct and movement aren't something that you can coach overnight. I think Rashford will have a hard time. Sorry. I agree with you. This has to happen if we want long-term success. JT says the problem is all we think about is us improving, and no one takes into account the other teams. Yeah, we will improve, but so will everyone else. Well, when I look at that, Jay, and that's the point I'm making about top four. No, teams have overtaken us, yes, but no one's run away with it. there are major inconsistencies with every team this season, and this has given United a chance. And I'm only talking about top four because of the way that we are and the predicament we're in right now. And that's the league, I mean, as a whole. When you go all the way up to third, and there's 3 or 4 points between third and 14th, there's a chance. And someone's best description of the way the Premier League is right now was it's like the Championship. You have 3 wins and you could be bottom half of the table and go right up into the Champions League. That's how crazy this season is. It's there for the taking. There are 2 places I feel now that can be up for grabs. I think City and Liverpool will run away. Arsenal, I just don't see them having that drive. 3rd season in challenging, and it looks like it's just a bit too much. Can you continue at the same level every single season? We say this about teams that win the league and teams that are actually consistently challenging, and that's the difference. I think Arsenal losing out twice to City now in close run things, and then the 3rd time coming around, is it a bit too much? Is it wearing them down a little bit now, Arsenal? And I feel like the 4th spot is open for anyone to go for. So really, nearly a third of the way through the season, you have to be honest and say it's open. That's the only reason I'm saying that United can get top 4. I think the squad is good enough, and I think the results are there. We've proved that we can compete with teams. We beat Liverpool last season. We beat City last season. We were close to beating Arsenal start of last season. I know it's clutching at straws a little bit, but so even like when we went up against Chelsea the other day, like Chelsea, free-flowing, attacking side, and they really didn't create a lot. And that was with Ruud van Nistelrooy as well. So the players have got something. They can handle themselves. It's just keeping that consistency up that I think is the biggest challenge for Ruben Amorim right now in this team. And we will see if they've got it. We will see if they have got that drive to actually succeed, because it doesn't look like they have done. Keeping everyone fit is going to be important. Martinez is back in Manchester, by the way. He's being assessed for the issue he's got with his back, which is, I hate any back injuries. They put fear into me. They do. I've had back problems myself. I know that Rasmus Hojlund has had a chronic back issue as well. When it comes to back problems, I'm scared of them. I am. I hope he's all right. But he was sent out to Argentina with all intention of playing the games. He was assessed there and hasn't really recovered. He's had more problems since he arrived in Argentina with the recurring back issue from that challenge that he took in that game at weekend against Leicester. And they have just said, no, he's not got any better. We are going to have to send him back. He's now back in Manchester. So he will have a chance, obviously, to meet up with Ruben Amorim a bit earlier. But that's Lisandro Martinez back. He will be assessed alongside everyone else at Carrington right now. Bruno is also back because he's suspended and won't feature for Portugal in the second game of internationals this week. So that's good that we've got 2 key players back. Not good that Lisandro Martinez is back because of injury, but still good that we have actually got him back, and hopefully it isn't as bad of issue as it can be, and he is available, having been fully rested and not played for a couple of weeks as well, going into that Ipswich game next Sunday. So they're all little positives that we've got to take from there. Let's get a few more comments in. Yup, this season is United's worst season, yet we only 4 points difference with 3rd position. Nathan says, I agree, we need to sell Nut, who is not. For now, we have to hope we can sell now, maybe, was that supposed to say? We have to hope we can help the team and stop trying to be a hero. I think it's on Bruno, to be honest. He's not that player he thinks he is. We need him to work as a team player. ATKO, injuries are starting to make an impact now. We have a squad. City, is it Arsenal? Plus the teams around the top 4 all play each other to drop points. We can make top 4. Yep, very true. Let's see what else we've got in there. JT, yep. The league is tight, but it won't last long. By Christmas, we will see the gap starting to open up, and the usual top teams will start to pull away. Well, we've got to be in on that. We have to be in on that. There's an opportunity to get in on them teams that are starting to pull away. I think that's what we've got to aim for right now. So, yes, I think that's pretty much covers everything we need to this morning. You're completely up to date, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us on this live show. Have a fantastic Sunday. We'll be back with the Sunday evening show later on. Usual time at 6:30 as well, everybody. So make sure that you're tuned in for that. Make sure you've hit that subscribe button if you want to be part of the growth of the channel as well. Hit the bell notification alongside it so you're notified of any content coming up. That's up on your screen right there now if you're catching up later on as well. Thank you, everyone. I'll see you all a little bit later on this afternoon.